Jai Radha Madhava. If they don't come up, just continue. It's already 20 to 8. Thank you. Just make sure you go live, please.
Hare Krishna.
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदा यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे राम
जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी
कृष्णे सुदामपगते धर्मज्ञानदेवी सा कलौ नष्टदिशामि स पुराणार्कोदनोदिता। Today reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto Canto 8, Chapter 7, text number 1 to 3.
Focus please. Light closer. ये रेट फोकस डाला लाइट
1 to 3.
पीछे बैकअप डालना स्क्रीन रखो स्क्रीन बढ़िया दिखेगा बढ़िया दिखेगा ना
Sri Sukha Uvacha Nagaraja Mamantra Te Nagaraja Mamantra Phalabhagena Vashukim Pariviyagirau Tasmin Netramabdim Mudanvita Are Vire Surayata Amritathe Kuruddaha Sisuko Vacha Te Nagaraja Mamantra Phalabhagena Vashukim Pariviyagirau Tasmin Netramabdim Mudanvita Are Vire Surayata Amritathe Kuruddaha Sisuko Vacha Te Nagaraja Mamantra Phalabhagena Vashukim Pariviyagirau Tasmin Netramabdim Mudanvita Are Vire Surayata Amritathe Kuruddaha Sisuko Vacha Te Nagaraja Mamantra Phalabhagena Vashukim Pariviyagirau Tasmin Netramabdim Mudanvita Are Vire Surayata Amritathe Kuruddaha Sisuko Vacha Te Nagaraja Mamantra
Google to put
Phalabhagena Vashukim Pariviyagirau Tasmin Netramabdim Mudanvita Are Vire Surayata Amritathe Kuruddaha. Word by word translation and word by word.
That's okay, go ahead.
Sisuko Vacha.
It's okay, go ahead. You need to read the introduction first.
Introduction. Back page.
Let's read the verse first, then we'll go back.
Okay.
Sisuko Vacha.
Sri Shukavacha
Sri Sukadeva Goswami said,
Sri Shukadeva Goswami said
they, all of them, the demigods and the demons, Nagarajam,
Rajarajam
the king of the Naga snakes,
King of Nandi
Amantrya,
Amantya
inviting or requesting,
inviting our questions
Phalabhagena,
Bhavena
by promising a share of the nectar, Vashukim, the snake Vashuki, Pariviya,
Haridiya
encircling, Girau, Mandara mountain,
Mandara mountain
Tasmin,
Tasmin
onto it,
unto it
Netram,
Netram
the churning rope,
turning road
Abdhim,
being
the ocean of milk,
the ocean of milk
Mudan, Vita,
Anvita
all surcharged with great pleasure. Are Vire, begin to act. Sura,
Sura
the demigods.
demigod
Yatta, with great endeavor.
that endeavor
Amritarthe,
Ate
for gaining nectar. Kuru Uddhava Udvaha.
Udbhavaha,
O King Parikshit,
O King Parikshit,
best of the Kurus.
best of the Kuru.
Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, O best of the Kurus, Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods and the demons summoned Vasuki, king of the serpent, requesting him to come and promising to give him a share of the nectar. They coiled Vasuki around Mandara mountain as a churning rope, and with great pleasure they endeavored to produce nectar by churning the ocean of milk. So we'll read the summary of the chapter now. Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. The summary of the 7th chapter is as follows. As described in this chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appearing in his incarnation as a tortoise dove deep into the ocean to carry Mandara mountain on his back. At first the churning of the ocean produced Kalakuta poison. Everyone feared this poison, but Lord Shiva satisfied them by drinking it. With the understanding that when the nectar was generated from the churning, they would share it equally. The demigods and the demons brought back to be used as the rope of the churning rod. Brought Vasuki to be used as the rope of churning the rod. By the expert arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons held the snake near the mouth, whereas the demigods held the tail of the great snake. Then, with great endeavor, they began pulling the snake in both directions. But because the churning rod, Mandara mountain was very heavy and was not held by any support in the water, it sank into the ocean. And in this way, the prowess of both the demons and the demigods was vanquished. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then appeared in the form of a tortoise and supported Mandara mountain on his back. Then the churning resumed with great force. As a result of the churning, a huge amount of poison was produced. The Prajapatis, seeing no one else to save them, approached Lord Shiva and offered him prayers full of truth. Lord Shiva is called Asutosha because he is very pleased if one is a devotee. Therefore, he easily agreed to drink all the poison generated by the churning. The goddess Durga Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, was not at all disturbed when Lord Shiva agreed to drink the poison, for she knew Lord Shiva's prowess. Indeed, she expressed her pleasure at this agreement. Then Lord Shiva gathered the devastating poison which was everywhere. He took it in his hand and drank it. After he drank the poison, his neck became bluish. A small quantity of the poison dropped from his hands to the ground, and it is because of this poison that there are poisonous snakes, so scorpions, toxic plants, and other poisonous things in this world. Text number 2. Haripurasta jagrihe purvam devastato bhavan. Translation. The personality of Godhead Ajita grasped the front portion of the snake, and then the demigods followed. Text 3. Tannaichan daityapatayo mahapurusachestitam nagrinhimo vayam pucha maheranga mamangalam swadhyaya sutta sampanna prakhyata janma karmabhi. Translation. The leaders of the demons thought it unwise to hold the tail, the inauspicious portion of the snake. Instead, they wanted to hold the front, which had been taken by the personality of Godhead and the demigods, because that portion was auspicious and glorious. Thus the demon, on the plea that they were all highly advanced students of the Vedic knowledge and were all famous for their birth and activities, protested that they wanted to hold the front of the snake. Purport. The demons thought that the front of the snake was auspicious, and that catching hold of that portion would be more chivalrous. Moreover, Daityas must always do the opposite of the demigods. That is their nature. We have actually seen this in relation to our Krishna consciousness movement. We are advocating cow protection and encouraging people to drink more milk and eat palatable preparations made of milk, but the demons, just to protest such proposals, are claiming that they are advanced in scientific knowledge, as described here by the words Swadhyaya Sruta Sampanna. They say that according to their scientific way, they have discovered that milk is dangerous and that the beef obtained by killing cow is very nutritious. This difference of opinion will always continue. Indeed, it has existed since days of yore. Millions of years ago, there was the same competition. The demons, as a result of their so-called Vedic study, prefer to hold the side of the snake near the mouth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thought it wise to catch hold of the dangerous part of the snake and allow the demons to hold the tail, which was not dangerous, but because of competitive desire, the demons thought it wise to hold the snake near the mouth. If the demigod were going to drink poison, the demons would resolve, why should we not share the poison and die gloriously by drinking it? In regard to the word Swadhyaya Sutta Sampanna Prakhyata Janma Karma Bhi, another question may be raised. If one is actually educated in Vedic knowledge, is famous for performing prescribed activities and has been born in a great aristocratic family, why should he be called a demon? The answer is that one may be highly educated and may have been born in an aristocratic family, but if he is godless, if he does not listen to the instruction of God, then he is a demon. There are many examples in the history of men like Hiranyakasipu, Ravana and Kamsa, who were all educated, who were born in aristocratic families and who were very powerful and chivalrous in fighting, but who, because of deriding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were called Rakshasas or demons. One may be very well educated, but if he has no sense of Krishna consciousness, no obedience to the Supreme Lord, he is a demon. That is described by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7:15. Namam duskriti muda prapadante naradhama namayaya pahita jnana asuram bhavamasita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Asuram bhavam refers to not accepting the existence of God or the transcendental instruction of the Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita clearly consists of transcendental instructions imparted directly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Asuras, instead of accepting these instructions directly, make commentaries according to their own whimsical way and mislead everyone without profit even for themselves. One should therefore be very careful of demoniac godless persons. According to the words of Lord Krishna, even if a godless demon is very well educated, he must be considered a Muda, Naradhama and Mayaya Pahitagyana. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mayam Tadati Supadantikam Hare Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kancana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwani Sudevi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. So the summary of the chapter is explained over here, that Demigods and demons are trying to churn the milk ocean. So first of all, when they churn, a Kalakuta beast, Kalakuta poison has arisen from the churning, and demigods and demons, they approach Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva satisfied them by drinking the poison. So Basuki Nag, a very powerful snake, was used as a churning rope. Hmm. So the demons catch hold of the snake in the front side, and the demigods catch hold of the snake in the tail side, because the demons thought that it is wise to catch hold of the snake in the front. That is more auspicious. That's how demon thought. So when the Mandara mountain was very heavy and it could not float in the ocean, it got sank, and then the Lord himself became a tortoise and hold the mountain in his back from drowning. So the Lord became a tortoise, and then he hold the Mandara mountain on his back, and thus again churning started to take place. But as they were churning, a great poison was produced. So the Prajapati were all afraid of the poison, and they approached Lord Shiva and offered him prayers full of truth. And Lord Shiva came there and he pleased the devotees by drinking the poison. And it shows here that Bhavani, the Lord Shiva's consort, was not afraid that Lord Shiva was going to drink the poison, because she knew the power of Lord Shiva. So she was not disturbed, and she let the Lord Shiva to drink the poison and she expressed her pleasure on this agreement. And Lord Shiva collected all the poison which was everywhere, and he took it in his hand and drank it. So this is a very difficult task for anybody to drink the poison, but Lord Shiva is very powerful, and he drank all the poison. And it shows here that some of the poison fell on the ground, and because of that poison, and it was drank by poisonous living entities like these snakes, scorpion, toxic plants and other poisonous things in the old, they got the poison a little bit, and that's why they are poisonous even now. So how was the Basuki? Basuki was placed as a rope to churn the milk ocean, and then they agree that whatever is produced they will share. So in that agreement, Basuki agreed to become the churning rope, because they promised that anything will be produced, who will share with you. This is how they promised to Basuki. So this way the churning of the milk ocean started, and then when the churning was about to begin, the Lord grasped the front of the snake, and then the demigods also followed the then when the Lord grasped the front of the snake, all the demigods followed him by grasping in the front. But the demons started to protest, telling that they are more advanced and they are the follower of the Vedic principles, so they should get the front, because they thought it was more wise to, more auspicious to hold the snake in the front. So they thought that it was unwise to hold the tail, the inauspicious portion of the snake. But they said that they will hold in the front, and that front was already taken by personality of Godhead, but the demons started to tell that they want the front because it was more auspicious and glorious. Why? And their argument was that they were advanced in Vedic knowledge and study and demigods. This is how they protested. And then they also tell that they are famous for their birth and activities. So here Prabhupada is making a point that there is always two sides in any endeavor. Demons are always opposite of the demigods, because there are always some fight going on between the demigods and the demons. So here Prabhupada tells that we are trying to protect the cows, and we are advocating cow protection and encouraging people to drink more milk and eat palatable preparation made of milk. But the demons proposed, claiming that they are advanced in scientific knowledge, so the demons think that killing cow and eating the meat is more advanced than drinking the milk. This is how they protest. This kind of thought existed even when Satya Yuga, the age of truth, so the demon in this churning, they thought it more wise, so they wanted to hold this side of the mouth. The personality of God thought it wise to catch hold of the dangerous part of the snake and allow the demons to hold the tail. Because they have a competitive desire. They are not because of their competitive desire, they thought it wise to hold the snake in the front. If one is actually educated in Vedic knowledge, he is famous for performing prescribed activities and has been born in a great aristocratic family, why should he be called demon? If one is advanced in knowledge, then he doesn't take birth as a demon, he takes birth as a demigod or glorious person.
स्मेलिंग आ रहा है, स्मेल लेना
So one may be highly educated and may not have listened to the instructions of God. If one may born in an aristocratic family, but if he is atheist, if he doesn't believe in God, he is godless, then he is a demon. So now in Kali Yuga there are a lot of people who are born in aristocratic family, but they are not devotees of the Lord, because these are demons. It explains in Shastra somewhere that in Kali Yuga demons take birth in the families of a Brahmana. So if one is godless, no matter whether he is born in an aristocratic family or not, he is always a demon. Just like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kamsa, they were also educated, they know the spiritual knowledge, but still they were demon. Kamsa, who challenged Krishna, he knew spiritual knowledge. When you look at their life, they know there is a soul in the body and soul never dies, it takes birth again and again. This is the spiritual understanding of the soul. And Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, they know these signs. But still they act inimically toward the Supreme Lord. They don't believe in God's existence. And they were very educated and they were very powerful and chivalrous in fighting. But they deride this authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are called Rakshasas or demons. So even if one is very educated, if he has no sense of Krishna consciousness, no obedience to the Supreme Lord, then he is a demon. So many people have education, they go to college, universities and get their degree, but when it comes to the believing in God, to become Krishna conscious, they don't easily take it. They don't even believe there is the existence of God. They think that this whole world is come about by chance and we are here to rule the world. This is the kind of thought the demonic people have in their mind. So what does the Bhagavad Gita say? Namam duskritino muda prapadante naradhama maya pahrita jnana asuram bhavamasita. The persons who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So these kind of people whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, they partake of the atheistic nature of demons. So most people who doesn't believe in God, they may be in the human body, but they are demons, because they want to enjoy life separate from God. They don't want to become Krishna conscious, and such a person doesn't surrender unto God. Whereas Chaturvida bhajante imam jana sukritino arjuna arto arthati jigyasu jnani cha bharatarsava. Four kind of pious people begin to surrender to the Lord. Artha, the distress; artharti, those who want money; jnani, jigyasu, the inquisitive person; and the one who is in knowledge. These kind of people begin to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Asura bhava refers to not accepting the existence of God or the transcendental instruction of the personality of Godhead. So Bhagavad Gita is the transcendental message given by the Supreme Lord Himself. But asuras, instead of taking this instruction directly, make commentaries according to their own whimsical way and mislead everyone without profit even for themselves. So many versions of Gita. If you go into the library, there are many other kind of people who have translated Bhagavad Gita, but they are translated in their own way, not like the one the Supreme Lord Himself wanted. Bhagavad Gita as it presents itself according to God's instruction, not deviating from its path. So many Gitas are there. Why people are not becoming devotee? Because they are not translated according to the Lord's desire. Whereas Bhagavad Gita as it is has converted so many people's life. So many people read Bhagavad Gita as it is and they come to the temple and they surrender to God and engage in devotional service. So this is the difference. Just like in India, there is Gita Press, so many editions of Bhagavad Gita are produced, but no one is becoming devotee. But whereas Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita has become so popular, those who have read it seriously, they all come to the temple and they surrender to God, and then they take advantage of the God. So this is the difference, that milk touched by a servant has a poisonous effect. It is the same milk that it gives healthy nutrition to the body, but if it is touched by the milk of a serpent, it has poisonous effect. So that's the same thing applies in Shastra, that even though it is an instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but if it is commented by a non-devotee, scholarly person but non-devotee, then it has no effect. It has poisonous effect. Instead you become a demon by reading such books. So that's why Prabhupada took so much trouble to translate the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is such a long book, 18,000 verses. So Prabhupada took a lot of trouble to write these books so that we devotees can read them. So Bhagavad Gita is a summary of all the scriptures, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is a more explained, more elaborate explanation of the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So those who read it, they become devotee just because of reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So many temples are established now. Temples are everywhere, all over the world. Every town, every major town has an ISKCON temple. And this has been possible by mostly about the books, because those who become devotee, they read books and they come and join the temple. So that's why we have to always associate with pure devotees. While listening, Prabhupada explains in glories of the name, that the holy name should be heard from the lips of a pure devotee. But the holy name uttered by non-devotees should be avoided, just like milk tossed by a serpent. It has poisonous effect. So same way, if you read the book written by a karmi, then you become karmi, you don't become devotee. So that's why, even though so many editions of Bhagavad Gita are published by karmis, but still no one becomes the devotee of the Lord. But single endeavor by Bhagavad Gita as it is and Srimad Bhagavatam written by Srila Prabhupada, so many people becoming devotee. So one has to be very careful of demoniac, godless persons. So even if a person born in an aristocratic family, if he is godless demon, then he must be considered Muda, Naradhama and Maya Paharta Jnana. He must be considered a dangerous person that can mislead people in general. So one has to be very careful not to associate with such persons, and one has to stay in the devotee of the Lord. Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavatam 11th canto that one has to always associate with pure devotees and stay in a company of devotees if one wants to save himself. So Lord Krishna explains that my devotees is everything for devotional service. So if we can stick to the devotees, always associate with devotees and chant Hare Krishna, especially in this day and age, chanting Hare Krishna is more important. But it should be done while performing devotional service in a company of devotees. If we do that, then our devotional life progresses. Because we always want to progress, we want to become a pure devotee of the Lord, but it takes a lot of endeavor. It is not automatic. One has to endeavor for it, just like any other thing. One has to endeavor. Same way, devotional creeper is also like that. One has to endeavor constantly, always avoiding the offenses. So many offenses are there. Dhama parad, nama parad, offenses in the holy dham, offenses in the holy name, and offenses to the devotees. So these has to be avoided, and this way one who chants the holy name, then the result will be very pure and everything will be good. So that's what scripture tells, that we avoid the non-devotees and we keep company of a devotee, because most people are demons there. They all want to make money and become famous and popular and not caring for what is good for humanity. Chayaya jagato hita. They do horrible work to destroy the peace of the people. So many factories are there, so many kind of other endeavors are there. It simply leads to a demoniac life, nothing like spiritual. The whole town is filled with industries and everything. These kind of things are very demoniac nature. They are not helpful in devotional service. They don't bring people to Krishna consciousness. So we have to be careful not to associate with such people. Considering them as a demon, we have to always stay away from them, and this way if we live our life, then we will be more properly situated. So this chapter is mostly about the Lord Shiva protecting the universe by drinking the poison. So they are churning the milk ocean, and then because the Mandara mountain began to sink, the Lord assumes a tortoise form and he holds the whole mountain inside his back, on top of his back. So this way it explains that incarnation of the Lord, tortoise incarnation, it still exists in the Garbhodaka ocean. The whole universe is situated on top of that Garbhodaka ocean. There is Ananta, Lord Ananta Dev sitting on top of the tortoise, and Lord Ananta holds the universe in his head. So this way, this whole universe is situated, so that these things are described in the coming verses. So that is some of the meaning of this verse. Any comments?
Thank you very much for taking the class at the last minute. Nice class, thank you. There are no questions on the Facebook.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।